reading's stupid. TV rules!
Welcome to Book Slice, where a pizza frozen is a moment frozen in time.
Today we are talking about recent reads. Let us talk.
The Damnation of Adam Blessing. Vin Packer. A working class dude house sits for a rich acquaintance who may or may not have status shamed him growing up. This sparks an obsession with maintaining an extravagant lifestyle, oblivious to everything else. Alright, so what's interesting about this book is that it steers clear of the gratuitous sex and violence that the pulp genre is traditionally known for. Instead, it reads like a cerebral character study within the domain of the titular Adam Blessing. However, much like the pulp genre, this book is a fast read, cataloging the events of Adam Blessing's life since the initial house-sitting incident. The book is an enthralling downward spiral into how the main character loses touch with reality. These events are filled with dark humor, and the more desperate Adam gets, the more cringe-inducing these scenes become. Fun fact, Vin Packer was a hypermasculine pseudonym for Mary Jane Meeker. She is also known for the book Springfire, which is the first lesbian paperback pulp book. I would recommend this book for pulp heads looking to branch out, cringe fanatics, and readers looking for a diet Dostoevsky. American Dirt, Janine Cummins. A woman and her son are on the run from a drug cartel after suffering a family massacre. They hope to head to the US border for safety. Combining the timely subject matter of the border wars, US-Mexican immigration, and the fact that this book was literally chosen by Oprah's book club, this thing has been super hyped this year as one of the books to read. I will say that the detail of the journey from running away to the US border was meticulously researched. You could tell that the author did their homework in portraying as realistically as possible how certain types of these scenes would play out. Specifically like the jumping of trains and running across the desert with coyotes guiding them to the border. You can tell that this was very well researched. But outside of that, where this book failed me was its flat characters and contrived plot points that somehow perfectly set everything up, that the whole experience that the characters face borders along the lines of misery porn. Okay, I'd recommend this for those looking to discuss the border crisis a little bit before refilling their glass of wine. I'd also recommend this to those confused on whether or not we should hate Ellen. And lastly, probably those who know the existence of BookTube. The ABCs of Socialism. This is a book of a group of writers answering common questions and clearing up some common misconceptions about socialism. For example, isn't socialism against freedom? And doesn't socialism always end in dictatorships? Alright, so this one, I liked it. It was super accessible, well written, only a little bit pretentious. But I was kind of left wanting a lot more at the end. I wouldn't say that the book is like a pamphlet, but it's kind of like a pamphlet. This is definitely a good introduction. But in the end, it kind of feels like you wanting a meal, but then you're only eating the fries at the bottom of the bag. I'd recommend this for those who considered making a podcast, those tired of Skillshare, and those who haven't watched The Wire yet, but are gonna get to it. The Troop, Nick Cutter. Scout troop on an island encounters patient zero of an infectious, worm-like disease. The infection spreads and adolescent chaos ensues. This one's really gory. It's kind of like Lord of the Flies and The Thing mixed in a meat grinder. Even though there's not much time spent on the characters themselves, I think they all have interesting backstories and arcs. The ending's really powerful. I liked it. You're in for a good time if you're looking for people not having a good time. I'd recommend this for Stephen King fans, dinks, and kid haters. A Fire Upon the Deep, Vernor Vinge. The galaxy is divided into zones. Zones closer to the center think and act slower. The outer zones are smarter and have faster than light travel. An apocalyptic entity beyond the explore zones begins destroying everything. This one's got very high ideas and concepts. It took a bit for me to wrap my head around what the author was trying to communicate, and he doesn't hold your hand when doing it. While the detail and concepts deserve all the accolades it gets, it is sacrificed at the expense of the characterization and writing. This seems to be like the gold standard of science fiction that puts its ideas before its execution. This one's also a pretty thick book, so I would definitely stay away if you are new to the genre. I'd recommend this for those who thought The Expanse wasn't boring enough, those who like their sci-fi hard, and power bottom. Thanks for your time.